is that your business plan is a living document. So you don't have to make it perfect the first time through. It's going to be helpful to you, even as like the roughest draft. So the first time through this, you might be able to go through it and just answer all the questions you can answer off the top of your head, and you're gonna get somewhere with that. And then you have to come back, and the next time through, you're gonna say, oh well, now I know where I can go for the answer to that question, and go out and get the answer and stick it in your business plan. Your business plan should be revised pretty much continually, right? This is no good to you if it's a piece of garbage if you're just gonna put it in a drawer somewhere and never look at it again. The whole purpose of this is so that you can use it in an ongoing way to steer your ship, right? So don't be afraid if you get stuck. If you get stuck on a question or you don't understand it or you don't know how to answer it, just skip it. Just keep going to the next one. Go to something that you can answer and build it in over time. Build in the missing chunks over time, okay? So I don't want you to be intimidated by this. Does anybody feel intimidated? Fantastic. You guys are so confident. Okay, great. One thing that we are going to look at for a minute is a couple of different things. So this worksheet, where customers look for information. I do want to break out for a couple of minutes into your co-ops and brainstorm a couple things around this. So, the worksheet, where the customers look for information. This is continuing on the marketing exercises that we were doing before, the market research and the competition research. So, at this point, so there's one part that's marketing research where we're finding out about the customers and what it is they want and what it is they want from us, what they're looking for. And then there's the next part, which is how do we talk to them about it? How do we craft our message to them, and how do we deliver our message to them, right? So the first one is market research, and the second one is market planning. So it's just so you know what the terms are when we use them. So now we're getting into market planning with this worksheet. So basically it's saying where everybody is envisioning a specific customer. You guys might all have different kinds of customers, but for right now I just want you to envision one specific customer. So the examples I gave were a visitor to Providence who wants to spend a day seeing historical sites, for example. Or someone in Worcester who wants to have a video made for a wedding, for example. So everybody can pick a phrase like that that describes an example of a type of customer that's going to be coming to them. Now imagine that you're that customer, and what do you do? What does somebody do who's getting married who wants to find a videographer? Where are 3 places they're going to look for their videographer?
Worcester, future focus.
Yeah. So if you're getting married, like, I mean, imagine you're this person, right? If you're getting married next week or next year, hopefully, and you're like, I should get somebody to video my wedding. What are you gonna? And you don't know anybody who's gonna do this. Where are you gonna look?
Go to a wedding planner.
Okay, so go to a wedding planner.
Ask your friends.
Ask your friends.
Pinterest.
Sorry?
Go on Pinterest.
Pinterest. Nice one. Okay, so those are 3 different ideas. I want you to take those 3 ideas across the top. So ask your friends, wedding planner, and Pinterest. And I want you to actually go through that exercise. So if you have, and
Using that example, or
no,
something
one that's
that's germane?
Oh, sorry. One that's germane to your co-op. So you have your ideal customer, you have your top 3 places. Try to think of the most likely places they're going to look, right? And then walk through it and think about, who they're going to turn up. So if the example is an internet search, they're just going to Google it, then go ahead and Google what they would Google and see what turns up. And then we're going to ask these questions about it. What businesses will they find when they look? Is your business among the ones they're going to find? How does your co-op look or sound in comparison to the other companies they're going to find? What's their experience like when you try to contact us? and what's going to make them choose us over the competitor. And now that I'm reading through this worksheet, I realize I don't think we have time to do it right now. Unless, do you guys think it would be useful to spend 5 or 10 minutes on this, or do you want to move on to the next exercise? Because I'm feeling a little short on time tonight.
Just give me homework.
Yeah. You feeling homework? Is anybody dying to do this exercise right now? Great. Okay. All right. But I still think it's really useful, and you should do it. This is going to be important. There's when you get to that section in your business plan, you're going to find that this is a really useful exercise. It was designed to answer the questions in your business plan outline. Okay.
What if, sorry, just
Yeah.
a quick question. What if you're kind of like wrong about where people live? Like what if I was like, oh, you should ask your friends about who taped their weddings. But what if that's just a misconception that I have? And like how can you base it?
Yep.
Is there like research on this or?
Well, what would you do? I mean, I think that if I had thought of it back then, I would have made this a part of your customer research worksheet back then. So it should have been included in there. And actually, maybe it was. I can't remember now. But when you go out and do research on your customers, this is one of the things that you should be asking them. Is where do they look for information? Who do they get referrals from? You know, when they want to hire somebody to do this kind of work. So, we're looking now at okay. So, all right, marketing without advertising. This worksheet here. I love this book called Marketing Without Advertising, and I think you guys should all get it. For some reason, okay, there we go. So this is a book that claims to be about marketing. It's really about customer service, and it's really about doing the kind of customer service and providing the kind of product that makes your customer rave about you. So remember when Grace was telling us about, what was the steakhouse she was telling us about? Does anybody remember the
Longhorn or
name?
something.
Longhorn Steakhouse, right? And how much money did Longhorn Steakhouse pay so that we would all remember their name?
$30.
$30, right? So even a vegetarian recommends Longhorn Steakhouse if you treat them right? That's where this came from. This book is all about that concept. Is how to get even vegetarians raving about your steakhouse. So this is a bit of a summary of what, I summarized the book for you, but I still want you to buy it. I just couldn't wait for you all to buy it. I wanted to tell you what was in it. So this is what's in the book, essentially. One is to offer outstanding products and services, absolutely. You want people out there raving about what a good experience they had with you. The second thing is that's kind of easy to overlook. It's one of those things that's almost too obvious that sometimes people forget about. Make yourself easy to find and easy to understand. So sometimes, I've seen people with like logos that are way too complicated, and somebody looks at the logo and they're like, "What is this business? I don't understand what this business does." Somebody should be able to glance at your branding, your sign, your letterhead, your website, whatever, and know what it is your business is about. Let's see. Number 3, paying attention to your image and reputation. There's a lot of good stuff in here about not just your customers, but every person that you come in contact with. One of the examples that they give in this book is that if somebody comes and applies for a job with you, and they don't get treated well, you don't like them, you don't think they're a good fit for you, and you kind of treat them bad in the interview and send them on their way, that person is out there talking to every one of your competitors in town. And they're going to go out and talk about what a bad experience they had at your company. And they're eventually going to get a job somewhere, and then the people that they work with are going to know what a bad company you were. So it's all about, you want to treat people well even if they're not the employee you want to hire, or even if they're not the customer that you want to work for, because all these people are talking about your business. Treating dissatisfied people well, we talked about that a a couple weeks ago about Yelp and what was it, the
Real estate management
the
company.
real estate. Oh, I don't think you were here for this minute. It's really fun. The at-home realty in Dorchester. We looked at their Yelp page and their bad efforts at managing to satisfy customers. It was pretty fun. So now we're all experts on that. Number 5, cultivating a community around your business. This is a thing that I think all of you guys have the capacity to do. And I think this is especially relevant for cooperatives. So, and I think a lot of marketing people, a lot of like for-profit business people might go into this very cynically, saying, make people feel like they're a part of the thing. We're the people who actually really do want people to feel like they're a part of the thing, you know? Because most of us are in industries that aren't just providing a product for something, we're building movements for stuff. So this is really genuine and from the heart for us. So the way that you build community around your business is the way you build community in any of your organizations or neighborhoods, by building trust and relationships among people, finding ways for your customers to interact with each other, you know, so they feel like they're a part of your team. That's the way they're going to go out and tell others how great you are. Personal referrals are your number 1 most important marketing tool, so you always want to prioritize that. And I don't have any more time to talk to you about that, but it's in the book. There's a lot of good ideas about engaging in marketing activities, samples, demonstrations, workshops. I will tell you this book is not good at one thing, and that's anything online. This book came out in 2008, and it might as well have come out in like 1993. It's not very good at online stuff. So it's very good at like old-fashioned stuff, which I think is still really valuable and translates well to online, but it's not going to teach you about how to, you know, improve your search engine optimization. And then the last thing, which is related to the title of the book, is do advertise, but don't rely on advertising. They actually make some claims that advertising can even be bad for your business by attracting the wrong kinds of customers. The kind of customers who are constantly looking for coupons and they'll have like low loyalty to you if they found you through an advertisement. I don't know if that's really true.
Would that be true of Angie's List as well?
Quite possibly. Angie's List customers can be just vicious. So watch out. There's definitely people who intentionally stay off of Angie's List because they don't want those Angie's List customers. Yeah, Shane?
Yeah, I know like a lot of businesses have moved away from doing like Groupons because it's just people who will go once and never again.
Yeah.
It costs them a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Groupon's over, right? It's all over Groupon. I think it's fizzled out, right? Does anybody still do Groupon? Oh, okay. Get it while you can. Okay, so the next thing that I gave you, I'm kind of rushing through this. I hope you don't mind. But stop me and ask a question if you think I'm going too fast. I just want to make enough time for a gallery because she came all this way and she's wicked smart. So, let's see. The next thing I wanted to show you was the sample marketing plan. Which I put where? Here. And you also have it on your handout. So this is an actual this is 2 pages of a 12-page marketing plan that I once wrote for a business I worked for. This was a construction company again, and we were in remodeling. So it was a very relationship-based business. It was also the kind of business where we could invest loads and loads of time in every single customer. So a lot of you are not that kind of business. For example, when you guys are picking up rides in Providence, you're not investing a ton of work in every single person you pick up. You're investing a little bit of work. The hot sauce people are not investing a lot of time in every bottle of hot sauce that gets picked up off the shelf. But when you're selling an $80,000 remodeling job, you might invest hundreds of hours in that person. And sometimes we did. So the purpose of marketing is to deliver those prospects into your sales funnel, which I'm going to tell you about next. So, is anybody confused about the difference between sales and marketing? Who can tell me what they think the difference is? Or the way that you understand it?
Well, one is you're selling a product and the other one you're promoting it.
But what's the difference between selling and promoting?
Well, in one you're trying to close a deal, and
Okay.
in the other one you're educating the public about the marvels,
The public. And who are you trying to close the deal with?
the person you're in front of.
Okay. So when you're marketing, you're dealing with the public. And when you're doing sales, you're dealing with a person. Right? That's the way that I think of it. Not everybody's going to break it down that way, but I find it really helpful to think of that way. So I call marketing everything that happens when you're talking to the public. And sales is what happens once you have a prospect in front of you. You know the person's name, you know that they're in the market for your product, and now you need to get them to buy it, right? So here we're talking about marketing. And this is a sample 2-page marketing plan that I did that was basically keeping in mind these things that came out of this marketing without advertising worksheet. So the things to look at here are, we know where we want our inquiries to come from. An inquiry is when we get a phone call, somebody saying, hey, I heard about you, such and such a place, and I want you to come over and take a look at my job. That's an inquiry, right? And it might come over email, it might come over the phone. So our different objectives were generate inquiries from referrals from existing customers, generate inquiries through referrals from subcontractors and other people that we work with, generate inquiries from customers who found us on the web through just a regular Google search, and generate inquiries from tabling at fairs and festivals. So those are 4 examples of marketing activities that we did at this company, right? And for each one, every time somebody called us or emailed us, we asked them, how did you find us? And they're going to answer one of these things. If we've given them the right options, they're going to say, oh yeah, well I signed your sheet or I picked up your literature at that fair that you guys were tabling at. So basically this is, you know what your objectives are, you want to generate inquiries. So you're going to be totally focused on how do I get those names. So you're going to have a sign-up sheet at your table, for example, or you're going to have a referral program for your customers. And the object is, it's not an inquiry until you have the person's name, and that's when it becomes a sales project. Is everybody clear about that? So when you do the marketing worksheet like this, and we've conveniently provided a blank one for you, so you can do something like this and put in your own budget and timeline and a time budget so you know what your marketing activities are going to be. You can put that on your overhead expenses worksheet because that'll be a line item in your financials, right? Okay. Who's got a question about a marketing plan? I just zoomed through it.
Are there other examples out there, do you think, that for our industries, do you know a place to start?
Good question. I would probably just try Googling it. I can't tell you off the top of my head. But I bet there's samples out there. Yeah. That are more industry specific than this one. And also, like I said, this book gives a lot of ideas. I really can't recommend it enough. Who else got questions about marketing?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How much do you think is, I hear like a big difference of opinions, like some people is like spend all your money on marketing at the beginning, and other people are like, no, start working and then you're gonna have, people will know about you if you do a good job. So do you have any like ideas on how much is good, or certain businesses is better, or?
In a word, no. But So this marketing worksheet is designed to help you figure that out. There's two, in general, in your company, there's going to be two different marketing projects going on at any given time. One is reaching people who have never heard about your business. The other one is once people become your customers, you still want to keep doing marketing activities towards them, right? You still want to keep them feeling a part of your community. You want them to become kind of little ambassadors for you too and go out and sing your praises. So there's keeping your existing customers happy and reaching out to new people. And both of those things need a budget. Those things cost money. So one of the things that we did was, let's see, whenever somebody referred as a customer, whenever somebody called up and said, Judy said I should call you because you are such a great landscaper and I want you to come over and bid on my house too. We'll immediately send a thank you card to Judy, saying, thanks for the referral to such and such, we really appreciate your confidence in
Do
us.
I get a $50 gift card too?
If that person you referred becomes a customer of ours, you get a personalized basket delivered to your front door. If it's an $80,000 remodeling job made of homemade non-toxic cleaning products, you can decide what the gift is for someone. And then how are you going to feel when that shows up at your door, even for your friend?
Oh yeah.
Appreciated.
You're going to feel appreciated. How are you going to feel? How are you going to feel if your friend comes to you and says, "Man, you did a great job. I'm so excited that you introduced me to that."
Even better.
And what are you going to feel if they come to you and say, "They left their tools all over my driveway and they broke a painted window."
Yeah.
A window pane.
Worse.
How are you going to feel personally?
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah, I staked my reputation on you guys. You know. How's your basket going to look now?
I'm sending it back.
Sending it back with a nasty note, probably, right? So then you got double damage control to do. Isn't this fun? Fun world of customer service. So, okay. So we're going to move on and just do one more thing before we get to all the legal stuff. As long as we're having a really good time. The sales funnel. And this one, we don't actually have a, well, you will have a handout of this because you just don't right now. I forgot to put this into the worksheets that we're going to get printed for you today. They are in that color workbook. This diagram is in the color workbook. It's actually worked up a little better than mine. But you'll get the idea. So here's the thing. For your numbers geeks among you, ideally, what we would ideally like to do, I'm going to blow your mind here, right? What we would ideally like to do is track how much money we spend on every marketing activity, right? And for every marketing activity that we did, how many prospects did we generate? How many names did we generate, right? Those prospects go into the top of a thing called the sales funnel, right? They go in the top. Not everybody who goes in the top becomes a customer. It's a long way from the top down to the bottom, and a lot of things can happen. They can decide they don't like you. They can decide somebody else will do it cheaper. They can decide they were never really in the market anyway. Their cousin was always going to do the job. So if you're really into numbers, you're going to know a few things. So you can say, we spent $1,000 going to that fair the other day. We got names of 20 people who are interested in remodeling jobs. So how much do we pay for every name? I already forgot what I said, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
We pay a certain amount of money for each one of those names, right? It's not inexpensive. So those names are precious to us. They go at the top. So for the business that I worked for, this is kind of the system that we followed. This is going to look different for you guys, you know? For Sold Chariots, I mean, this will be what you're going to look like if you're chasing down regular clients for deliveries. You know, if you're going to work for like a law firm or a payroll service or something that does courier work, if you're going to be doing courier work that's going to be a regular customer, you might do something like this. If you're picking up a person on the street who just got out from the bar, this is going to be a very condensed. You're going to be like, hey.
It's not going to be a funnel, it's going to be a shot glass.
Yeah, you got it. That's good. That's very funny. So anyway, you get the idea. So a person expresses interest in your business. You know them by name or they're standing in front of your face, right? So there's all these actions these are actions that you have to do, and this is the status that they're in. And it's basically the same thing, but this is like a verb and this is more like a noun. Just bear with me. So the actions that you have to do, so somebody calls and leaves a message on my machine and says, you worked for Judy, she told me I should call because I have a retaining wall that needs to be put in. So I say, great, I'll call you back. I say, hi, I'm calling you back about your retaining wall. I'd love to come over and take a look at it. Great, I'll come tomorrow. So we go to the first meeting. I go to her house, and I write up what's going on there. There's only 6 feet between her house and the next house over. It's a big problem. There's a drainage problem in the basement. You assess her needs, and then you write up a proposal, and you say, I'm going to be able to do this job for you for $12,000. You go over and you give her the proposal. Now you've made the proposal. She's going to have all kinds of objections, such as,
That's a lot of money.
that's way too much money. My cousin can do that for $6,000. What else is she going to say? Your project at this stage is going to be to address each one of her concerns in turn, right? So when she says, my cousin can do this for a third of the cost, you're going to say, oh great, is your cousin's licensed then to do this kind of work?
Has he addressed the drainage problem?
Right.
Is he addressing the drainage problem?
Right. So how can I help you where my competitor is not? You've addressed the objections. Now you sign a contract. Your sale is closed, and you have a customer. Okay. So this is going to look different for every business. This is just one kind of business, right? At every step of the game, you're going to lose people. This is a very leaky funnel, and they're going to leak out the side of the funnel. So, those 20 names you got from the fair, if you're lucky, you're going to end up with like 1, maybe 2 customers in that. So then you've paid, how much money did you pay going to the fair? $1,000. And you got 2 customers out of it.
$500 per.
You paid $500 for each customer. If these are $80,000 remodeling jobs, is that a good value?
Yes.
If these are people that you picked up on the street of Providence who need to go home after the bar, is that a good value? Not so much. Okay. So this is what I would love for you guys to do, and almost no business actually gets around to. If you guys get around to this, you're going to be way out ahead. Is to actually track this stuff, to just keep track of these numbers. How many people did I meet through this kind of thing? And if it's something like your website where you can't track it, you can just say like how many people, just send us an email through the website in the month of January, the month of February. You can just break it up into blocks like that. And actually do the numbers. How many made it to this stage? How many made it to this stage? And then from there you should be able to know. So when we're doing our planning and we say we know what our break-even point is, right? And we know what our target is going to be for how many customers we need in a year to break even or better, then we know how many prospects we need to generate, and we know how much money we need to budget to make that happen. We know how many fairs we have to go to, we know how many listings we need to do, stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Almost nobody does this, and it's such a valuable thing. If you guys actually do this math, you can see it's not super hard to keep track of, but it does take some organization. I would love to see you guys doing this. And so we made this worksheet to help you do it. There's a prettier version of it in the PDF. And I think from there I'm going to turn it over to our esteemed lawyers, unless anybody has questions about sales. Sorry to just talk at you for all that time, but I wanted to give you a lot of stuff. Okay.